The laughter was too loud, too rehearsed, like someone trying to convince themselves they were happy. I stood at the bar, watching the champagne fizz up in my glass as my wife, Alina, giggled at something my boss whispered. Her hand lingered on his sleeve just a moment too long. The air felt heavier than it should have. The company's annual gala had always been a celebration of success. But tonight the lights felt too bright, the smiles too sharp. My heart was already beating faster, though I couldn't yet explain why. Then it happened. "Alina," Marcus said, microphone in hand, standing on the small stage with that self-satisfied grin I'd seen 100 times in board meetings. "I think everyone here deserves to know how much you mean to me." She froze, laughter still ghosting her lips. My hand tightened around my glass. He turned toward her. "You make me feel alive in ways I didn't think possible. And I don't care who knows it." He dropped to one knee. "Marry me." The room fell into stunned silence. The glass slipped from my hand, shattering on the floor. And Alina, my wife of 6 years, covered her mouth, her eyes wide, trembling but not in shock. Not in rejection. She was crying. And nodding. "Yes," she whispered. I felt the world tilt. The sound of clapping filled my ears like static. Our colleagues were cheering. Cameras flashed. My chest burned, my throat closed, and still I couldn't move. Marcus, my boss, didn't know. He had no idea. No one here knew that I was the real owner of this company. That Marcus, the arrogant CEO, was just the face I'd hired years ago to keep my name off the paperwork. And my wife had just said yes to him, not knowing the empire she'd betrayed me for was mine. I didn't speak to her that night. I left before anyone noticed, before Marcus could find me. I drove home in silence, my mind replaying the moment like a cruel loop. The look on her face, that strange mix of fear and relief, as if she'd been holding her breath for months. When she came home hours later, her makeup was smudged, her hair tangled. She didn't notice me sitting in the dark. "I didn't mean for you to find out like that," she said softly, setting her heels by the door. My voice was calm, detached. "So it's true." She turned, eyes glistening. "It's not what you think." "Then tell me what I think," I said. "Tell me why my wife just said yes to another man." Her lips trembled. "You've been distant. Cold. You're always working." Marcus made me feel seen again. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I laughed. Not the kind of laugh that hides pain. The kind that bleeds it. "So your solution to loneliness was an engagement ring?" "It's complicated," she whispered. "No," I said, standing. "It's simple. You cheated. You humiliated me in front of everyone I employ. And you didn't even know it." Her brow furrowed. "What are you talking about?" I stepped closer. "That company, my company, you think Marcus owns it? He's just a front. Every share, every dollar, every decision is mine." The color drained from her face. "You're lying." I handed her the documents I'd kept in the safe. The ownership papers, the corporate registration, my signature on every line. She sank into the couch, eyes wide. You let him think he was the boss?" "I needed someone to manage the face of the business," I said. "And apparently, the face wanted my wife." She covered her mouth, tears spilling over. "I didn't know." "That's the problem," I cut in. "You never wanted to know. You wanted the illusion of something exciting. You wanted to feel powerful. And he offered you that." Her sobs filled the room. I watched, detached, as she broke down. I felt nothing. Or maybe I felt too much to name. The next morning I went to the office. The staff's whispers followed me down the hall. Marcus wasn't in his glass-walled office. He was already in the conference room, smiling like a man who just won the world. When he saw me, his grin faltered. "Daniel, hey, I didn't expect." "Sit down," I said. He blinked, confused, but obeyed. I dropped a folder on the table. "Inside, you'll find your termination papers. Effective immediately." "What?" He laughed nervously. "You can't fire me." I met his gaze. "I can. I own the company." He froze. "That's not possible. The investors work for me," I said evenly. "You've been on borrowed authority since day one." He tried to speak, but no words came out. His jaw clenched. "You're doing this because of her, aren't you?" I smiled coldly. "No. I'm doing this because you're bad for business." Then I walked out, leaving him speechless, humiliated. the same way he'd left me. When I got home that night, Alina's suitcase sat by the door. She looked up from the couch, her face pale and exhausted. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I didn't love him. I wanted to feel like someone saw me." I looked at her for a long time. "And did he?" She hesitated. "For a moment." I nodded. "Then I hope it was worth everything that came after." Her eyes filled again. "Are you going to divorce me?" "I already did," I said quietly, handing her the papers I'd signed that afternoon. "You just haven't signed yet." She took them, her hands shaking. "I thought I knew you," she whispered. I paused at the door. "You did. You just stopped looking." That night, I sat alone in the office that had once belonged to Marcus. The skyline glittered beyond the windows. I thought about love, betrayal, power, how thin the lines between them really were. I didn't feel victorious, only hollow, because in the end I hadn't just lost a wife. I'd lost the version of myself who believed in her. And no amount of ownership, of wealth or revenge could ever buy that back.